Welcome to the Success Pick and Mix podcast. I'm your host, Nicky Raby, a professional pick and mixer. I'm a personal brand coach, a speaker, an actor, a creator, and a podcaster. I'm on a mission to help you find and create your version of success. Your pick and mix of life and business on your terms. A blend that complements your personality, your goals, and your circumstances. Since 2018, I've been sharing interviews and mini episodes to help you unlock your next step, to make it real and make it happen. Round here, we dream big. We go for the ideal version. We talk about money and make moves our future selves would be proud of. This podcast is free and available for you whenever you need it. So do rate, review, and subscribe for new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices and availability, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests. Now, on to today's episode. In today's episode, I'm talking to Maxine from Digital Bonbons. Maxine started Digital Bonbons in December 2016, and it was created out of her passion and her expertise of digital marketing. And she wanted to focus her help on businesses that were targeted towards parents and children. She wants to help business owners feel confident, less overwhelmed, and ready to promote their business online. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new episode. Today I'm talking to Maxine from Digital Bonbons. Hi Maxine.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very excited about this. This is it's like the stuff of dreams.
Oh, thank you. Well, if people don't know you, would you mind just starting by telling everybody who you are, what you do, and what you're all about?
Yeah, of course. So as Nikki said, my name's Maxine. Hello, listeners. And my business is Digital Bonbons. So I've just celebrated my first business birthday, actually, because I launched the business on 31st of December 2016. And so it kind of was created out of my passion for digital marketing. And then when I became a parent, I identified that I really wanted to use my passion and my expertise to help businesses focused on me, essentially, parents and little ones. So Digital Bonbons was kind of created out of that idea, and launched it, and now it's rocking and rolling.
And what do people ask you for? How do you get paid, essentially? Sorry, I'll go straight into the money, but I think it's really interesting for people to hear.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And the thing is, it's money isn't always the most important thing, but when you're in business, it's what keeps you going in business. So it's a topic that needs to be talked about. Absolutely. So variety of things, really. I've got quite a broad service offering because it covers the whole of digital marketing. So I have people coming to me for new websites, for audits on their existing websites to look at where they could improve, social media, that could be management or just audits to see how it's going, what tricks are they missing, email marketing. A lot of businesses I work with are getting started using MailChimp but don't necessarily know how to craft a good newsletter to entice their buyers or their readers, and also down to like digital strategy, SEO, Google Analytics, the whole shebang, really. So quite a broad range of services that people do use me for, and they can range in size as well. So some projects can be quite long term, or ongoing, like social media management or email work, or they could be quite short projects. So for example, I do these digital mini sessions, which are kind of like mini digital audits of all the aspects, and they last a total of 4 to 6 hours, and then they're done. So yeah, a bit of a mixture, pick a mix.
Great stuff. Well, I know a bit of your background and your story, and I know that you've made this move. How did you start your brand, and how did you come up with the name and the concept, and how did you create a brand that you knew was going to start a movement and start a new chapter in your life and stand out from the competition? Because I know when I see you across social media, I think it's really clear, and I love seeing your posts and what you're up to, not in a creepy way, but in a kind of it's very recognizable. So how did that process happen for you?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I think I mean, I'd always wanted to work for myself. That had been a kind of dream and fantasy of mine for probably, I'd say, if hand on heart honest, the last 10 years. But I'd never really kind of found what I could do or what that could mean, what that could look like, etc. And then I had Ava, and she was born in 2014, and I went back to work, went back to my corporate role. And I'm quite happy going back to work. Went back 4 days, and I had a very, very good work-life balance. I was one of the fortunate ones returning to corporate world that one could, and also had that kind of balance when returning as well. And it was after a conversation actually with my really good friend Louise, and she was just about to embark on launching her own business. And she's a wedding planner as well, but she's also launched her own creative business doing websites and branding for lifestyle brands. And she was just about to embark on that. And I thought to myself, oh, you know what, I could do this. I really feel like this is something that I could offer to people. And I think especially when I was on mat leave and becoming a parent, you know, you discover so many more businesses out there that cater for you, that are talking to you, that you can find great stuff for your child, great things for you. But I also know that a lot of those businesses are started by mums who want to launch their own business, who come up with their light bulb moment on mat leave, that might have come from very different professional backgrounds, and they might not know how to get their business seen online. So that was kind of a real ding moment. And I thought, I really want to help these businesses. I feel like I could help them, you know, reach the people they need to be and understand what they need to do a lot better. So, I started working on the business, I think it was like July 2016. And I started thinking about what I was going to be as a business, how I wanted to brand myself, what my colour palettes were, and, you know, all the kind of visual elements. I'm a very visual person anyway. I always have been. I'm very into my design and my art, so that kind of speaks to me a lot more than words. So I actually started doing like a Pinterest board of just colours and things that I like, and it just kind of evolved from there. Really, I found all the things that I was looking for in terms of my colours, and then even down to the name. Originally, it actually started off as a blog, believe it or not. I had a film blog for about 6 years, talking about my love of films, and I was going to start Digital Bonbons as a blog about a woman that was in the digital industry, talking about digital, because at the forefront of it as an industry, you know, there are more and more females involved in digital, but you know, when I first come on the scene, it was very kind of male dominated industry. And it's increasing more and more over time, with more females getting involved in it and getting involved in coding and everything like that. So I wanted to kind of do it as a blog. So I had already done that actually earlier that year, and then it was in the June that I thought, actually, you know what, no, I don't want to blog about this. I want to be far more proactive with this, and I actually want to make this a business. So and it kind of, I worked on it from there, thought about all my content, what I wanted to deliver, how I wanted to deliver it, what my ideal customer was, you know, the kind of checklist of things that you hear when you take courses or when you speak to people about starting a business, really thinking about that delivery and who I am, what's my ethos, what's my values, and kind of got it all together. And then it was after all of that I started working on my website, and I had a very clear vision of how I was going to position myself as a brand, as a business. So that's probably too much information, but
it's all really useful. And did you have to do any mindset work around this? Because I think sometimes starting your own business can be seen as this like glamorous thing that you're just sitting at home and PRs are contacting you and you take a couple of pictures and, you know, you go to an event and then you have a avocado on toast, Instagrammable lunch, whatever it might be. But did you, and I guess I'm asking because sometimes people think, oh no, I could never do that, or I don't have the skills to be able to set up on my own. How did you know that you would be able to do that, or what did you do practically to make sure that that was the case?
Well, first of all, I can completely identify when people say, oh no, that's not me, that's someone else does that, how could I ever start my own business? Because that's exactly what kept me back from doing it for the last 10 years or so. Yeah. So I can completely identify with people who feel like that, and who are feeling like that, on the brink of possibly starting something fantastic, but actually holding themselves back on the other hand as well. Because I was exactly like that. I just thought that, you know, it was always something that someone else could do, because you see so many other people doing it. Yeah. And if you are following people, you know, the whole social media thing, you know, it just looks perfect. That, yeah, you know,
and it feels unattainable sometimes as well.
Absolutely does. It's almost kind of like you're chasing the life of someone else all the time, in a way, instead of focusing maybe on your life and what actually you want and what really matters. You know, do you really want that kettle that person's using? Do you really want it? I don't know if you do. And it's that kind of thing, really. But yeah, so I did go through quite a lot of mindset, but I think I'd already done that prior to this business. I think everything that I'd done had kind of been leading to that, because when I then made the decision to do this, it was almost kind of like the first time I was actually going to see something through, and I wasn't gonna let it stop, and I wasn't gonna let the confidence not happen. And I think it's because I wanted to do something like this for so long that I'd almost already gone through all the years of self-doubt and mindset work, whether that was thinking of doing something on my own, or whether that was in my careers or my previous jobs, etc. So that somehow I think, and especially since having Ava as well, I think since having her, you know, that was a big kind of like switch for me in personality. In some ways, I used to be very anxious, very like a very worry head person, and it was almost like having her just completely changed all of that. Don't get me wrong, there's still bits that very heavily creep in now, and I won't pretend there aren't, because they do. But having her, I think, just kind of gave me the impetus I needed to think, oh, actually, you know what? I could do this, and I am going to do it. And what's the worst that can happen if I do? And I think that was really important for me. And obviously, it was quite a big gap between having her and actually launching the business. It was 2 years, so it wasn't something that I just launched into straight away. I did think about it, and obviously had quite a few chats with my friend Louise as well. And I just thought, actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to sit back this time and doubt myself. I'm actually going to do this, you know. I'm actually going to see it through. And every step that I was working on, when I'd completed one step, moving on to the next one, and it was kind of ticked off the list, and it was building momentum, I thought, oh my God, like, you know, this is actually, I'm actually gonna do this. I am gonna do this.
And you are. And so what was that like, the first time that you got paid, as, you know, for yourself, not just within a corporate job?
Oh God, that was just unbelievable. That's such an unbelievable feeling, and I still have that feeling every time that happens now. It's not something that I've become accustomed to, getting paid for what I do outside of a corporate role at all. I'm not sitting there being like, oh, just throw the money at me, whatever, woo. No.
I don't even need it. I've signed up for the day.
Exactly. No, not at all. I'm still very much taken aback by that, because I think it's just such a, I can't think of the word, but it's overwhelming in a really nice way, in the sense that people believe in what you do and that you can help, and I know it sounds really corny, make a difference, but yeah, help make a difference, and people want to work with me, and that's just so inspiring and encouraging, and I just it's what makes, it's what makes it all worthwhile, really.
Yeah, I know, and I know we're joking about making a difference, but what you offer is because you're helping people to get themselves out there, to market themselves and their business correctly, so people know of them and that they get paid. There's all kinds of crazy statistics about businesses that fail in the first year or whatever, but I think sometimes that's partly to do with we don't know how to put ourselves out there, and in the back of our head we may have the old stories of, well, we shouldn't show off, or we don't want to come across as sleazy or like we're trying to sell to people. So it's a real fine line, and if you've got somebody on your team going, go on, or just do a bit more of this, it's so much easier.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, and that's the biggest thing as well, is that I don't just want to kind of provide the practical stuff around learning digital marketing. It's the support as well, and it is that confidence building. So it's as well as kind of like the practical things that you can do. Well, if you look at this, tick this box, try this. But it's also that kind of cheerleading as well.
Yes.
I love these businesses. It's why I started this whole thing in the first place,
Yeah.
because I love the businesses that are out there that are trying to reach parents, that produce fantastic things for kids, that, can help it down to, people like yourself, Nikki, that are helping, fellow mums or parents or women or whoever, trying to figure out what are we doing, what are we, and what do we want outside of what we're currently doing. Are there
Yes.
things that are hidden below that we really want to achieve that we're not tapping into, but but we just need someone to help us do that. And I think, I love supporting the businesses that I work with, and all the businesses that I come across, because I want to help, and I want to get them seen online, because they deserve to be seen online.
Yes, and I think sometimes we don't know how to do all of the things. So you can have the best idea in the world and you know that it's going to work, but unless somebody knows about it and you know how to communicate it with people, it's not going to get out there. So one thing that I would say is the more that you can surround yourself with people like Maxine who actually know what they're doing and can support you in that kind and considered way, it's really important to be able to do that, because we don't have to do all of the things, even though there's the expectation that we should. So I wanted to ask you, what have you gained since doing this, and what are the best things about your job and your lifestyle now?
Oh, what have I gained? Well, oh my God, so much. I think the biggest gain, other than the fact that I've done this, I've actually thought of something and seen it through, and it's out there, which I feel like is a almost like a foggy daydream in a sense.
But
My
I think
big
we all feel like that
gosh.
sometimes, because we all feel I feel about 8 years old sometimes, and I want my mum to give me some Monster Munch and let me watch Funhouse back in the 80s. It's sort of, it's
Oh,
still a shock that we're grown up
oh my gosh,
sometimes.
absolutely, yes. And I still refuse to believe it. Even though the body clock keeps, ramping up here to a different number,
Yeah,
mentally I'm still stuck at around 25, 26, and I'm happy with
exactly.
it. I'm so
Yeah.
happy with it. I've forgotten the question now. Oh my God, chatting
Well, so I guess what have you gained from making
about
this change?
Okay, so the gaining, I think the biggest thing for me is completely different lifestyle to what I had, you know, this time last year. I was When I launched the business, I was doing it on top of my corporate role, so I was doing it in the evenings and sometimes on the weekends, odd days on a Friday, when I had my daughter. And yeah, the biggest change for me is that, I've left the corporate world. I've left employment after 17 years, and now I'm doing the business full time. I started doing it full time in October, and that's a massive gain, because I've got my own time. I run to my own schedule. I control my day. I can have time with my daughter as and when I want. That kind of freedom.
Yeah.
That comes with working with yourself. And don't get me wrong at all, I am still adjusting to it. I still find it all very surreal. I still feel like I'm very much in the corporate mindset, and I'm probably a little bit too hard on myself sometimes, if I'm honest. But that's been such a massive gain, and I've only been able to do that because of what I've been doing with this business, and it's what I hoped would happen. It happened a little bit quicker maybe than I anticipated, which is a good thing. Which is a good thing. But yeah, and that's just been and just the confidence and the community and the support, the friends I've made. It's like almost like a whole nother world. Um, yeah, it's just I've gained so much, absolutely.
And what would you say to those who have an idea and it's just a spark at this stage and they know that they want to make that move? What would be the first steps that you would suggest in kind of moving that idea, even if it's just a little baby step moving forward?
I definitely think talking to someone about it, because that's the worst thing, I think, in a lot of ways, is that you can have something and you might feel really excited about it, but also on the hand of excitement is nerves, fear. What if people don't like it? And you're already kind of putting all these things on yourself before you've even said it out loud. Almost, it's almost kind of how you're having a million conversations in your head.
Yeah.
You even talk to anyone about it. So I really feel like if you're sitting there at the moment, if you're sitting there, listeners, if you're sitting there and you have an idea, talk to somebody about it, whether that's your partner, a really close friend, maybe an online group that you've joined, or even a local face-to-face group that you've joined. Talk to somebody about it. So say I've had this idea and I really think I've got something. What do you think? And also, just write your ideas down as well. Everything you're thinking of, just put it all down in a book. Get everything out. Whether it's just names that you've got rolling around your head, or what you'd like to offer, or if it's a product that you'd like to do. And then I think once you've spoken to someone and if you said it out loud, it then gives you a bit of empowerment as well, because you're thinking, oh, this could happen. I've actually said the words out loud
Yes.
and someone has heard it, and that really does give you a bit of power and impetus to then kind of just like I said, I'm a big scribbler, so I remember writing a lot of things down when I was first thinking of this business,
Me too.
breaking it all down, well, what would I offer? Who do I want to target? And then also, I love a good Pinterest board as well. Like I said, I'm a visual person, so I hit Pinterest with all these different things that are going through my head of what this business could be, and colours I liked, and fonts and ideas, and motivational words as well. So I think just don't hold yourself back. It's just so easy to do. And my really good friend's mum said to me, actually, when she found out that I was going full time with the business, she said to me, "Oh, I'm so excited for you. And you've just got to do it." She said, because fear is so much easier to live with than regret, and that's
Ooh,
exactly it.
I love that. I think it's so important, and I think I remember myself when I sort of was venturing into this life coaching world, that I started to say what I was working on rather than going, oh, I'm just doing this thing and being a bit vague. Because suddenly once I said that I was working on, or I was launching, or whatever, the amount of people that often that I didn't expect at all that stepped forward and said, oh, you should meet my friend, or why don't you email this person? And sometimes you can feel like the help is a long way away, but actually usually it's quite close to home, and generally I know that we found is that the community online is it's like a cult. It's really supportive, and people will help you out along the way, because often there are people out there who are doing what you want to do too.
Absolutely, and that's the thing as well. And I think like you say, the community is so strong. And I think when you are starting to think of an idea, or even now when you're in business yourself, I don't know everything. I don't know everything about being a business owner. I've never been a business owner before. Only someone's just got to show me a spreadsheet, and I just feel the heat and like a rash
I
coming
always
on.
feel like I'm in trouble, even though
Oh,
there's money there.
it just takes me back to like being at school when we used to have a mental arithmetic test.
Oh gosh.
I would feel the panic and the dread come over me because I'm not very good with numbers. It's not my forte. I know that's not my strong point. So I know as a business owner that is going to be a right pain in the bum for
Yeah.
me. So
And
I need
it's
to.
okay not to be good at everything, I think. Sometimes we can
Absolutely.
feel like we should be super women and doing all the things. It's all right for people to help you or for you to ask for help. And I
Absolutely.
realised, like, when I was a new mum, it was quite an adjustment, actually saying, if somebody said, "Oh, can I make you a cup of tea?" And sometimes I go, "Oh no, it's all right. Well, I'll do this." And in the end, my mum said one day, "Well, I would like one, so I'm making one. Can you sit there?" And we forget that we can actually ask for help and be supported.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the key thing, isn't it? Is because you don't need to know everything. Everybody is kind of like I want to say expert, but even then you're not always a fully grown expert because you're learning and developing all the time, but you have your field of expertise, and then there's things that you aren't going to know about but other people know about, and that is completely and utterly okay. And I think that what you just said in a comparison about when you become a parent for the first time as well and letting people help you is such a big thing because you kind of feel like, well, no, if I do, it kind of looks like I'm failing as a parent because I can't manage a baby and make a cup of tea.
Yes.
And I think being a business owner, especially when you're starting out in business, is so much like that. It's like becoming a parent again for the first time, and your business is your baby. It's another baby that you're looking out for. It's very close to your heart. You almost don't want to share it with anybody because you don't
Yes.
want the judgment. You don't want to ask for help because you don't want people to think that one, you don't know what you're talking about, or you don't want the judgment of, well, surely she should know that. And it's so true. But you've just almost kind of got to think, and it's funny, isn't it? Because you kind of look back and you think of this when you've been a parent for a couple of years, and you just think, oh God, no, I wouldn't feel like that now. And you've almost kind of got to tell yourself that when you approach starting out as a business owner, and just get rid of all the thoughts that you've got there about all the bad things, and just ask for the help if you need it, and it is okay because
Yeah.
it's out there, so use
And
it.
inevitably, we will all make mistakes. We will all try things. We were just talking earlier about, I think there's some program that you can access your own old websites. Well,
Yeah.
if I looked at my first website, it would just be like, who is that or what is that all about? But equally, I could only do what I did at the time. I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the niche, I didn't have the confidence when I was first starting out that I do now. And so you have to. It's all a process. It's all a journey.
Massively so, absolutely. I mean, God, my website has changed 3 times since it's launched. Into not massive changes, but things that I've developed, things that I've then learned how to do better that I couldn't do, a year ago. And it's about constant involvement because we all learn all the time. And I think that's one of the important things is just keep learning and then improve yourself. But when you don't know, ask.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'd like to do some quick fire rounds, if that's all right. We'll just
Oh
want to.
no, this is where I
So when motivation wavers, how do you get back on track?
I take some time out.
Good, brilliant.
Yeah,
And if you could do something else for the day, what would you do?
I would be a film trailer maker.
Ooh, would you put like big, scary, dramatic music on all of them?
I bet, yeah. One of my dream jobs was always to either be a Disney animator or a film trailer maker. 'Cause I absolutely love trailers. Ma-
Amazing.
Yeah. So if I could do
Wow.
that today, that would be amazing.
Oh, I've got London traffic in the background. What tools or resources could you not live without?
Oh my goodness. So my tools. Even though I'm a digital lady, I'm all about a notebook.
Yeah, me too.
I don't mean like a digital notebook. I mean a good old fashioned pen and paper. So I could not live without my pen and paper. That is number one. And then my stationery, so me pens as well. I love a good pen. And me planners, love planners.
Oh, it's
That
so
goes
good.
well.
I just get lost in stationery shops for
Oh
hours on end, and then I have to be hoisted out. And I actually
yeah.
went to an event at Kiki K, and I
Oh,
made like some weird noise when I touched this notebook, and then I was like, "Ooh, that's nice." And then I looked at the woman, I was like, "Oh, sorry," and she put her hand on my arm and went, "It's okay, you're amongst friends." So it was some kind of weird underground stationery perving situation.
oh my gosh, I love
But
that.
but we got it. We connected.
That's
What
it.
what books on your bookcase would you recommend, or audios, or YouTube videos, anything like that that's been really great for your inspiration?
Oh, books. Oh, I've actually got oh, they're in the other room, aren't they? They're on my bedside. But so I've just started reading this book at the moment, actually, which is not related to business at all, but it's a really good. I'm finding it to be a really good wind down read just before bed, and it's called A Poem for Every Night of the Year.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and it's really good. They do two, one for every day and one for every night. And yeah, every day you get like January 10th, 9th or whatever day we're on today, 10th, can't remember. I'll read today's poem, and then it goes on and it takes you through the whole year, and that's a really nice kind of wind down tool. Actually, I used to love poetry at school, but never really had like a massive passion for it. But I'm finding that quite a good, just kind of chill out time before bed. I have a little read of a poem, and then I'll, lights out, relax. But I've also started using the positive planner as well this year. It's not a book as such, but it's obviously a way to kind of reflect on how you're feeling, look at your own kind of mental health and how you're coping with things and what your goals are. And I'm finding that really good as well. So it's just little things like that I think are really important, because especially when you're working at home and you're on your own during the day, it can be quite isolating and you can feel a bit caught up in all the fog of yourself.
Yes.
So I'm actually finding that at the moment, those kind of books that I'm actually taking time out with and doing a bit of reflecting and things like that, are actually being really beneficial at the moment. So I haven't got any businessy books per se I've got some on the list to read, but those are the two that I'm kind of looking at right now.
Amazing. And that's really good actually to be able to do that switch off for yourself, because I remember before we had Oscar, sometimes I'd be working at home on my own, and by the time Matt came home I was like some wired Labrador at the door, like so excited that he was home. And of course
Yeah,
he'd had a long day as well, and he's looking at me like, dude, you're going to have to calm down, because I need to take my shoes off and just have
yeah.
a moment to myself. So
Oh,
knowing those
absolutely.
things of how that works rhythmically in your house as well is really good to know. And finally, where would you like to be in 5 years' time?
Oh my goodness, where would I like to be in 5 years' time? Ooh, probably on a beach somewhere in Bora Bora. That would be nice if I look
Yes.
at my moody, cloudy sky. No, on a serious note, where would I like to be in 5 years' time? I tell you what, Nikki, I don't. I think if in 5 years' time we had this same conversation and I was still able to do what I'm doing now and have that time with our daughter and have the life for me of how I want it to be, I would be happy. If I could just be doing what I'm doing now, and that would make me so happy.
It's a date. I will see you on the 9th of January
I'd
2022.
be
No,
from
2023. Oh my God. See? Maths? No, I was good at maths.
okay.
2023,
Yeah,
we'll have the same conversation and see where we are.
absolutely. Well, we could be sitting on our sun lounges in Bora Bora, just chatting next to each other. That would be,
Absolutely. And some new piece of technology will have been invented that we won't
yeah.
even have to press a button. People
No,
can just
that's it.
see what we're doing. Maxine, you are a treat. I adore you. Thank you so much for all your advice and wisdom and just your heart and soul that you bring to everything that you do. If you're always such a supporter of me and so many others online, and we just really appreciate it. So thank you. And if people wanted to come and find you, where shall they go?
A few places really. You can find me on Instagram. My username is Digital Bonbons, and it's the same on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and my website is www.digitalbonbons.com as well. But thank you very much, Nikki, for having me part of this. It's an absolute honour to be featured on your podcast, and it's been amazing. So thank you very much.
You. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you haven't already, feel free to rate, review, and subscribe for all the brand new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices, availability, or just to have a chat with me, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests, and I'll see you next time.